All right. So welcome everybody to our very first Live with ByDesign webinar. This is a newer format for us. I know a lot of you on the call are already clients of ByDesign, but we also have some companies that are not yet clients. We have a few partners on the call, and some of you may recognize some ByDesign employees here as well. So we've got a mixed audience. And that's awesome because I really want this webinar and each one of these monthly webinars to be a little bit of information from me to you, a little bit of collaboration, idea sharing, Q&A. So feel free to interrupt as we go along, ask any questions about the features that I'm sharing. If you have any tips or tricks based on your usage of the features, I know the rest of the attendees would love to hear it. And just as a reminder, we are recording this so that everybody can get a copy of it afterward. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in, but feel free to, like I said, interrupt if you've got questions or feedback. You can also leverage the chat. We'll be monitoring that as well. So for this month, I want to cover some of the recent ByDesign product updates that we've had. So I'm going to start out with Revolution. And for those of you who may not know, Revolution is the name of our rep back office. So this is where your field reps can go in and manage their business, look at reporting, all of that jazz. For those existing clients, some of you may call it something other than Revolution, but just know anytime I talk about Revolution, I'm talking about that rep experience and that rep back office. So the first one that I want to start with is the updated format of our navigation or menu. So historically, we have had what you would call a top navigation, which is where the menu items to navigate around the page are all across the top of the screen. We've recently adjusted that and made it a left side navigation. And the reason that we did this is because it really is a more efficient use of space. It reduced some of the white space that was on the initial homepage. It scales well when you're on a mobile view. And also it allows for limitless navigation. And what I mean by that is we have so many pages that can be turned on or turned off that some of our clients actually ran out of space across the top of the page. There were too many menu items and not enough and not enough width to actually fit them in there. So with the left side navigation, you never run out of space because you can continue to scroll down. So it really has helped us to overcome some of those both functional and visual constraints of the top navigation. Now, this is something that is configurable. So if you don't have a lot of menu items and you prefer that top navigation look, you can keep that. But we also have the left-hand side as an option as well. So you do also have the ability to personalize this left-hand navigation. Now, of course, you can choose what items are in the menu, but when I say personalize, I mean the branding and the look and feel. So right now, what you're seeing on our demo site, the background image is that gray kind of spotlight or bubble kind of look. You can actually replace that image with something that you prefer. And it can be done in your Freedom back office without having to contact us. And you can make it, part of your branding. You can change it out seasonally. It can correspond with a new product launch. It can correspond with an incentive trip. I have seen all sorts of different strategies for how to leverage this background image. But it's just one more way that we are empowering our clients to take control of their own look and feel. And this is the first step of many that we have planned. Some future roadmap items will allow you to also upload your own logo. So if you want to change your logo at any time, you can do so without having to rely on us, as well as the overall branding standards, primary color, secondary color, rounded buttons, square buttons. All of these are things that we are considering to, again, empower you to take control of your branding. The next one that I wanted to talk about is, this was a fun one. This is our order draft. So I'm a big fan of this one because I have been in this industry for quite some time. And I remember the old days when you truly relied on your field to sell face to face with all of their customers. And there was that sense of that personal shopping that, customers relied on their rep to help them with what products should they be ordering, how frequently, what are good recommendations, and so on. The order draft is really taking that tried and true concept of your rep being that product expert and helping your reps to continue to offer that kind of personalized shopping service, but using technology and digital tools, which are necessary in today's environment. So the order draft is something that is available in the Revolution back office. So your reps have access to this, and they can essentially start an order for any customer and add items to that order. And then once they've got it ready to go, they email it to the customer. When the customer gets that email, it's as simple as click and pay. Okay, so it's cutting out the time that the customers are having to send, making it quick and easy for them to complete their orders. And it also makes a more secure payment option, because if your reps are completing the order for your customers, they're going to have to get that credit card information over the phone, or worst case, some people are still keeping them written down on a file somewhere in their office. The order draft eliminates all of that because the rep is never actually having to take the payment information. I'm curating the order, sending it out, and the customer clicks to pay in a secure environment. So it really is that blend of what our industry has been doing really well for decades, which is that personal shopping experience, but leveraging technology to bring that experience into today's environment. A couple more things about the order draft. There is an automated email template that obviously is the mechanism to notify the customer of this order that has been created. So at the corporate level, you can actually create canned content for these order drafts, meaning your rep doesn't even have to enter any kind of message if they don't want to. They can use your pre-canned content for that notification. There's also the ability to have that pre-canned content with a place for personalized message. So it's really the best of both worlds. You can ensure that there's a consistent on-brand message included with these order drafts, but your reps still have the option of personalizing it if they choose to do so. One thing I want to take a quick time out to point out, you will notice on all of my screens in the upper corner, you're going to see a symbol for either support service or self-service. Support service are any of the features that would require our team to collaborate with you in the setup. If you see something that is self-service, that's something that can be configured 100% on your own. And while you don't need our help for the self-service items, we certainly can help with those self-service items. So just wanted to kind of let you know about that as we go through the presentation here. Any questions on order draft before I move on? Yeah, Andy, I think I see a question here. You can unmute yourself if you want.
Just that there were some questions in the chat. I wanted to make sure you saw those.
Oh, thank you. Let's see.
And I know we at LeBri, the skincare company, we had order draft in the queue and worked up and maybe coming soon. I forget the exact status of it. Or maybe working with adding show module connectivity or ability to edit a little more. But yeah, a few questions in there I didn't want you to miss on order draft.
Awesome. Appreciate it very much. And I do see those coming in now. Bart, great question. I don't have a sample already queued up of what it looks like when the customer gets that email. But that's certainly something that I can throw into the deck before I send it out to everybody. So that way everybody has that. Catherine, does the order draft expire? Great question. You actually control that at the corporate level. So you can indicate whether you want these to expire after 24 hours, after 7 days, or if you never want them to expire. One thing to note though is anytime your reps create an order draft, if you're using soft allocations for inventory reserves, then creating the order draft will actually remove those items from available inventory and kind of hold them for that customer. So if you don't have them expire, it's possible that you're going to tie up inventory with order drafts that are never actually completed. So the good news is you have control and you can set it up however you want, but there are some implications to your inventory counts and so on. Which kind of brings me to the next one, which is the checkout and whether it checks for pricing and inventory. And Tony, thank you for jumping in and answering on this one. Because the customer is actually completing the order in the checkout experience, anything that's a part of the checkout, whether it's promo evaluation, inventory checks to make sure they're still available, pricing checks, all of that is still going to happen one time before the order is completed. So we're essentially taking the customer to that final step of checkout, do one more evaluation behind the scenes, make sure it's all good to go, and then the order can be submitted. One other thing that I did not mention is that your field will also have a report that shows them any of the order drafts that they have sent out that are not yet completed. So this is going to empower them to follow up on those orders, especially if you have set up any kind of expiration. So that's another tool that's going to really help your field to kind of have a little more control over the sales and what's coming in on a monthly basis. All right, I think I'm caught up there. Oh, so last thing, Andy, I do not currently have anything on the roadmap to tie this to party. I love that idea. I'm going to add that to the roadmap. We have already, since we launched this new feature, we've gotten the request to allow AutoShip items to be a part of this. So that is already on the roadmap, but I will add the party one to that as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Oh, yes.
Just thank you. That's it.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, so next one, a big one, and any of our existing clients on the call know that I've been talking about this for a few months now, and that's because in my former life, I was a field engagement executive, so I really, really love tools that help me to motivate the field, and that's what the incentive tracker does. The incentive tracker is a tool that allows you at the corporate level to create, manage, and track incentives from your Freedom back office. So what does that mean? Well, you can see that the screenshot that's on the right-hand side here is a view of the Freedom back office. So this is where at the company level, you would create incentives. You can name them, set your start and end dates. You define which behaviors are going to count toward the incentive. And then you also list out the different rewards that are available. This tool can be used for annual trip incentives or short-term, simple free product incentives. It's literally, the full spectrum. And what I love about it is because you have the ability to control those start and end dates, and it's all configuration that doesn't rely on development, it allows you to be able to pull levers even within the same month. So if you're halfway through the month of May and you see that, wow, our recruiting is not where we wanted it to be, you can actually design an incentive that runs for the last 10 days of the month and offers some incentive for new recruit sales. Likewise, if you're a party planning company, you can actually motivate party activity during the front half of the month, for example, or the second half. It really empowers you to take control over your incentive programs because you have the flexibility to be able to create them on your own without having to run custom development through us. Now, when you set it up in the Freedom back office, you're going to see the other screenshot here is the Revolution back office, which is that rep back office. So as I'm building out the incentive in Freedom, it's automatically creating the tracking tools in Revolution. So it's going to save me time and ensure that one-to-one tracking of all of the different qualifiers. So you can see that rep-facing report offers a breakdown of my own personal progress, descriptions of every single one of the reward incentives. And you can't see it in the screenshot, but if you were to scroll down, there's also a team tracker there that allows me to check the status of anybody in my downline toward this incentive as well. As I said, you can control the qualification dates, the qualifying activity, and the different incentive levels. And this is another one that we have actually already made some updates. So we just launched this around the first of the year, and we've made a big push. And as we get more and more of our clients in there looking at it and working with it, it's helping us to make it an even better tool. And that's one of the things that we love here at ByDesign is, you know, our products are always evolving, and we rely on our client feedback to tell us where the gaps are. What do we need to add? What do we need to improve on? So I know these updates did come directly from that client feedback. So we've added a couple of new qualifications that can be used, or let me rephrase that. There will be new updates. They're coming in the August release. One of them is points per rep's customer purchases. So if you want to reward your reps based on the customer purchases that are made on the account, you can now do that, or you will be starting in August. The second new one is points based on join date. So this is going to allow you to award points to a rep based on if their own join date is within the incentive period. And you can award sponsor points if they recruit downline representatives with a join date within the incentive period. So you can see we're just adding more and more of the specific use cases to make this a more robust tool that really allows any client to run any kind of incentive that they might need. Beyond those two new qualifications, we also have a new incentive attribute page. This is going to empower you to actually create some qualifications inside of the incentive. Obviously, there are going to be some limitations on that. We can't let you just have free reign because you know, there are risks for conflicts and that sort of thing. But this tool is going to empower you to do even more than the canned qualifications allow. And we have a new detailed incentive tracker report coming out as well that will allow you to export the details for all reps with point values, where the points are coming from, the end result of what they achieved, and so on. So this will help your team to be able to really work with the data, identify those target groups of reps that you want to reach out to and encourage more activity, and so on. All right, checking the chat, make sure we don't have anything new. All right. Next up, multiple dashboards throughout. This is another one that it may seem like a really simple thing, but as a field trainer, I love it. And this is the ability to be able to take the dashboard or that home page of our rep back office, which for those of you who are new to our system, the home page is a series of widgets that can be turned on, turned off, customized, and essentially allows you to set up a dashboard landing page for your reps. What we've done is we've actually made the ability to take that same kind of functionality, but duplicate it so that you have more than one dashboard. Obviously, you're still going to have that primary dashboard for your home page, but you can also have an incentive dashboard where you have the reporting plus the PDF that outlines all of the rules about the incentive. You can have recognition showing there as a separate report. You can have all of these things available in an incentive dashboard. Same thing for training. You can have a calendar widget plus a marketing or a free text widget. So the concept here is that you can minimize or simplify the navigation by having these series of dashboards throughout. Another option here that I've seen is if you have a different dashboard experience for your leaders than you do for your new reps, a lot of times I would recommend that you have the new rep dashboard as an alternative page within the back office. So as a leader, I've unlocked new widgets on my dashboard, but I still like to know what my new people are seeing when they come in. So you can create a second dashboard that's in the menu navigation called New Rep Dashboard so that your leaders always know what those new reps are seeing when they come in. Okay. The multiple dashboards is something you can configure yourself. It's done through the menu and dashboard managers. So in your Freedom back office, you can both create these and also manage these as far as which widgets you want to add, where you want them housed within the navigation, and so on. All right, this one's a quick one, but this is one that I have to say we got feedback from almost every client about this particular request. So there is an area in the ByDesign Revolution back office, which is where you can actually upload resources for your reps to consume. It can be PowerPoints, videos, PDFs, audio recordings. There's all these different things that you can upload to the resources area. And up until now, we were using default icons like the PDF icon or the PowerPoint icon. Now you can actually override those default with custom images for each one. So if you want to literally give them a preview of what that resource looks like before they click on it, you can now do that when you're editing that resource or uploading that resource. So it's a very small change, but again, it's based on client feedback, and it's something that as a rep, I'm going to know if it's the right resource I'm looking for before I click into it. So it's all about saving your reps time. The less time they spend in the back office, the more time they're spending out there making connections. So that's what we want with the resource thumbnails. All right, I'm going to take a quick pause before I transition from the rep back office over to the shopping cart. And open it up to see if anybody has any questions about any of the features in Revolution, any suggestions, tips, feedback, anything about the rep back office before we switch over to the cart.
Yeah, just switching back to the thumbnails, and getting back to the resources. One of the things that is a little frustrating when, and I know you've got the different folders that you've got there, but when you upload the resources and the rep comes into it, they're all listed by default, pretty much all together until the rep indicates, oh, I want this. I want to look at order forms, or I want to look at incentive trips or whatever, and until they say what they want to look at, whether it's a video or whatever. Is there any way to break those up so that they don't have to look at everything at once as a default? You know what I'm saying? Basically,
I do. So like the categories that you see on the left-hand side of the page, you have the ability to categorize them, but what you're saying is instead of defaulting to the all, can you default to something else or help them in some way to kind of see how they're organized?
yes.
That's a great question and a great suggestion. Let me dig into that. I don't know of anything beyond the categories off the top of my head. If you're not leveraging the categories, that's certainly a place to start. But it's definitely possible that we can leverage either a different display. maybe it's tabs on the page, or some way to display or serve up the information in a more intuitive way. So yeah, I think that's a great piece of feedback. Let me take that back to the team and see what we might be able to do there.
Perfect, thanks.
Thanks.
And just to bank off that, I was looking at our business center, is what we call it, business center resources tab, and never crossed my mind of why does it land on all, but I guess that's a good point. So our consultants would land on all. There's 148 resources, maybe 10 pages. Who needs all, right? Why land on all? Why don't just stick you on the first option that's below all? So for a screenshot, maybe it would just be master training. Maybe I think that's what kind of Bart was saying, just why give them all, right?
I like that. It's really great suggestions.
But if someone had 15 items, maybe they would want all.
Exactly. But a way to help you at the corporate level kind of indicate what that experience would be nice.
Because all will
point
show
them in
up
the right direction.
Yeah.
Because it'll show the most recent soon, I believe, when you're on all. So that is the benefit of you land here. Yes, you're on all, but you'll see the most recent ones there. But then, as Bart's saying, most people are going to make another choice because they don't need all, they need a specific category.
A specific one. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally love it. Yeah. That makes sense.
My question too, are these resource thumbs good on mobile? Do we know?
They are. Yes.
Oh, super. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Okay. I will move on to the cart. We're about halfway through our time, but I will say that the Revolution had the most items, so I think we're still good on time. So moving over to e-commerce, or our shopping cart. So the biggest one that we have been working on over the past 1.5 to 2 years has been an updated version of our checkout. We call it Checkout 2.0. And any of our existing clients on the call, you know all about Checkout 2.0. I've been talking about it. The support team talks about it. Daryl talks about it. But really, there's a reason that we want you to leverage 2.0. And that is that it's fewer steps to checkout. From the 1.5 version to the 2.0 version, we've eliminated about 4 clicks in the overall checkout process. And that's something that we all know on this call, and I know I've heard it from all of our clients. The fewer clicks you have, the fewer chances that that customer is going to bounce. So we have streamlined it so that we know that we are minimizing those opportunities for that customer to leave the checkout experience. So 4 clicks down to 1, a much better experience there, much more efficient. There's also an updated user interface, or UI, for the promo evaluation, party association, and terms and conditions. So the way that we were able to eliminate those clicks is, instead of waiting on the user to progress through each step, like starting with address validation, then the promo consideration, then the available credits or gift certificates, we are doing it all in one step behind the scenes. So when you first come to the checkout page, it's going to automatically check for an address, check for the promotions, do the party association. All of that's going to happen automatically in one step, instead of using that stair-step approach that was there in the 1.5 version. Another big one is that we have integrated with our partners over at Nuvei for payment processing. And in addition to the standard credit card, check, cash payment types, what Nuvei has offered by partnering with ByDesign is what we call alternative payment methods. So you can start accepting a much wider range of payment methods in your cart. And we know that customers want these alternative payment methods. I'll tell you, I'm guilty of this myself. If I can't pay directly from my phone, I don't want to have to get up, go find my card to be able to put it in. I'll just leave the cart and maybe come back later. It's really important that we stay current on what a true retail e-commerce experience is. And that's what we've done by partnering with Nuvei for these alternative payment methods. A new update just in the last couple of months, we have now integrated Checkout 2.0 with enrollment. So I will say that a caveat to that, there may be some unique use cases that aren't quite there yet, depending on how you're leveraging credits or gift certificates. But for the most part, the enrollment page, which we know is one of our older pages, instead of finishing the entire process there, you now start in enrollment, but finish in checkout 2.0. So that means that the benefits of the checkout experience with promotions, promo codes, gift cards, the different alternative payment methods, all of the benefits of the checkout 2.0 experience are now also available on enrollment. Even for those of you who may not be using our enrollment, if you have a custom enrollment page, you can use our checkout 2.0, leveraging our APIs and basically redirecting from your enrollment page to land on our checkout 2.0 page. So that's something that if you're interested in leveraging checkout 2.0 with your custom enrollment, reach out to us. We can help work with you on that. But it's very exciting to see some new advanced options with enrollment, and it starts with checkout 2.0, and then we will back it out from there to affect the other parts of our enrollment as well. I already kind of mentioned the alternative payment methods with Nuvei. But if you don't know about alternative payment methods, they have a great website that you can go to that lists them all out. I can tell you the most popular ones are PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. We've just recently integrated with Bank Draft. And that was a specific use case for a couple of our clients who have communities that they sell to that do not use computers. So for example, Amish or Mennonite communities that are purchasing products, they needed to have a way to be able to pay for them within the interface without having to actually leverage the interface. So that's just one example of how an APM can help you. There's a lot of international ones that if you're thinking of expanding or if you're already operating internationally, they're going to come into play, like SEPA, some of the local currencies used in South Africa, in Asian countries. Any of those most frequently used payment methods in those different regions are going to be available through the APM integration with Nuvei. So by having this integration into our checkout, it really opens up over 500 different payment methods that you can accept in your cart. Another new update is that we've been working to also add these APMs, not just to enrollment, but to AutoShip as well. Now, some of this is dependent on the APM itself. So for example, PayPal may support recurring transactions, but the Google Wallet might not. I don't know if that's true. Those are hypothetical examples. But the key is that for those APMs that do support recurring payments, we are going through and testing them based on unique client needs. So as soon as we have a client who wants to use SEPA for recurring payments, we'll get in there, test it, make sure it works. Same thing with PayPal. You can see here we already have 3 that have gone through the testing process and confirmed that they are working on AutoShip. That's the Bank Draft, SEPA, and PayPal. But any of the other APMs, if you want them to work on AutoShip, just let us know. We'll test them. Most likely they will work out of the box and just need to be configured. Worst case, if it doesn't work out of the box, that's the benefit of a partnership. We will get with Nuvei, do the work on our side so that you can start leveraging those payments at no additional cost or development time for you. And then transitioning over to AutoShip, there are some updates that we've made to the AutoShip interface in our cart. The first one is we now have the ability to create $0 AutoShip profiles. And you might think that's weird. Why would you want to have a $0 AutoShip profiles? A lot of this has to do with membership items that you want to be able to grant access on a recurring basis that may or may not have a cost associated with them. It may also be a scenario where you want to be able to create the profile and they're using a promo code. So the first order is free, but we still want to create that recurring auto ship profile. So these are all reasons why a $0 auto ship is necessary or might be necessary. And now we have the ability to do that. I already covered the APMs for auto ship items, but we now also have the ability for the customer to select a different shipping method for their auto ship items. So if for some reason they want their recurring orders to be delivered to a different place or a different way than they want their items today, for example, if I'm out of my favorite face cream and I want to order it today and pay for rush shipping, but my auto ship that I'm adding it to can be delivered standard shipping, that is now possible by having alternative shipping methods for the recurring auto ship versus the one-time order. We also have a great tool that I recommend, which is the auto ship pricing as the default selection. So you can see here in the screenshot, when I go to look at the velvet body butter, by default, it's going to have the auto ship selected. The customer can obviously still choose the one-time purchase, but it's just helping them to see the value and evaluate and make that decision of not putting it on auto ship versus having to make the decision to put it on auto ship. If you're worried about compliance concerns, we're covered here because our auto ship always includes terms and conditions that the customer agrees to at checkout. So you can absolutely default to the auto ship pricing, encourage them to get it on that subscription order, and then make sure that in the checkout section, that's where they're agreeing to the terms and you're covered from that perspective. And then finally, we have updated the display of the auto ship. Instead of just having a drop down for the month and day, now we have a calendar display that you can leverage. This isn't always going to be the best option depending on what time frames you offer, whether it's quarterly, annually, monthly, but having a calendar display is, again, it's something customers are used to seeing in traditional e-commerce sites. So we want to make sure that our experience is as close to that as possible. All right. Checkout 2.0 in Nuvei has been great. Thank you, Andy. Love that feedback. We love them as a partner and we work with them. I speak with them weekly. So, that's another benefit to any of our partners is knowing that that relationship is there between your back office provider and any third party you might be leveraging. Because then, you don't have to worry about whether, your troubleshooting needs to be with us or with them because collectively we're working on it as a team. So yeah, great feedback on that. Another area of the e-commerce experience that we have been working on for quite some time is the account section. So this is for the customer account. So customers, when they're in the cart and looking at their account, we've updated the look and feel to make it more modern. It's now mobile friendly, so nothing's going to get cut off if you're on a mobile device. It will stack and resize as needed. And then we're getting into the customizable view for my account. So for example, if you think of each one of these sections as widgets that you can turn on and off. For example, my parties. Obviously, if you're not a party plan company, that's not going to make sense. But for those party plan companies that use our technology, allowing your customers to see parties that they are hosting is key because now you don't have to have a separate hostess portal. Instead, your host can use their existing customer account to track progress, see what their current rewards are, redeem their rewards. We want to be able to leverage the cart for this so that, again, they're getting a traditional e-commerce experience even when they're associated to an event or a hosted party. Okay, so parties is one area. Another area is customer referral or credits that are earned. These are all things that can be turned on, turned off, configured to make sure that whatever you choose to offer to your customers whatever your strategies are, if they're earning points, if they're earning free product credits, if they can refer other customers, you want to make sure that this account area helps them to track their progress. Because if they can't see the success they're having, it's not going to encourage them to do more. So having these optional items available that you can turn on, help your customer to kind of take ownership of their engagement with you and realize what they're earning, it's going to promote and encourage them to do more of it. Right now, we're currently working on the ability to actually indicate the sort order of the items on the page. So right now, for example, the order history is the second page, the second item on that page. Well, if your customers do have a long order history, you might not want them scrolling past that to get to their parties or to their credits. So we're working on the ability to allow you to indicate what order you want these to be sequenced on the page. That way, above the fold is the most important things that you want your customer to engage with. And then below that scroll line is where some of the more reporting items are that aren't necessarily as actionable. Again, my account is a self-service item. The setting is right there, so you can go in and turn on 2.0 at any point. If you need any help, obviously contact us, but it is something that you can actually turn on today and start leveraging this new look and feel. Some recent enhancements that we've made to the login page. We have partnered with one of our clients to update the login so that instead of having two separate login pages, one for reps and one for customers, we now offer a single login page. And depending on what information is entered, the system is going to know whether they are a rep or a customer and then know where to send them as a result. So taking what was two different experiences, combining them into a single user interface has been a real, again, efficiency consolidation effort for us. So that single login page is now available for you. It's something that does require our team to collaborate with you because there's a lot of options on how you want that behavior to react. And one other thing that we've done here is we've added an order summary to the login page. This is a small change that has significant improvement in preventing bounces for customers. As a customer, if I come to your cart and I'm browsing, I'm adding things to my bag, and then I'm ready to check out, if I haven't yet logged in, it's not going to take me directly to checkout. It's going to take me to a login page. And by having my order summary with the pictures of the items I've already selected right there beside the login, I'm naturally more inclined to finish the login and go back and purchase those items. Versus if you take me to a login page where I'm not seeing the items that are in my bag, I'm more likely to not complete those steps. So it's a really great updated experience for the login screen. You can take advantage of both of these new capabilities or just one or the other. But I definitely encourage you to add that order summary to the login page because it really does improve your conversion rates as far as completed orders in the cart. And then finally, the last thing that I want to share on our cart is the ability to have multiple cart IDs. So what does that mean? That means that under your one account, you can actually have two different cart experiences with unique branding, unique names, unique URLs. So you can essentially have two separate carts that are all tied to the same system. That means that the same inventory control is going to manage both the same promo engine, same payment processing if you want, and all of the orders from both carts are going to feed the same volumes and the same comp plan for your reps. This can be really great if you have products that you need to sell separately for compliance purposes, or if you have two different brands under the same umbrella, you can separate your two brands there. But a couple of the different use cases or examples here, One is from our friends up in Canada at Vox Life. They actually did some A/B testing with this experience. They had a Vox cart and a Super Patch cart. They were able to compare the two and see which one led to better conversion metrics. And then they were able to see which one of those experienced customers preferred and then go with that as their primary cart. Another example is one of our clients that had regulated or restricted products. And this isn't restricted products that are prohibited from being sold. It's more about, I have two different products that can't be sold together on the same cart. That was the experience here. So we actually created two separate carts so that customers could choose which products they wanted to purchase, but they could not purchase the two together, which meant that we were in compliance with payment processing regulations, FDA regulations, and so on. So if you have any reason for needing two different cart experiences, it is something that is configurable. Although we do still require that you work with our team because the configuration is quite complex and there's a lot of decisions that need to be made as you're doing that. So reach out to us if you have any needs for these multiple carts and we can help you out with that. But it's something that is not often used, but if you are in a unique scenario to need two carts, it's invaluable. So definitely something that we were excited to be able to add to our e-commerce offerings. All right, going to take a quick pause here and ask if anybody has any questions on cart items before we drive it home in these last 10 minutes covering the Freedom side. Check the chat here.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
With the cart login, the single login for reps and customers.
Yes.
I just was reading the subject talks about enrolling, but that just means reps and customers, right? It's the same.
It does.
cart.
Yes. Yes.
So a client like ours at LeBry, we could have lebry.com and then that takes you only to the shopping cart, right?
Right.
Okay.
But in the shopping cart, when they log in, it's going to determine if they are a rep or a customer. That's going to determine what pricing is displayed, what promotions are available, etc. Basically, what it does is it allows you to, on your kind of on your blind page, like when they get to the cart before they've logged in, you don't have to necessarily have different links for the rep login versus the customer login. You also don't have to necessarily feed them from two different places. So it allows you to have like a single point of entry that is leveraged for both customers and reps.
That's something we'll have to look at. I mean, we have it separated now for the shopping cart login, so why not have it together?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Definitely reach out. Let's take a look and talk about the potential use cases. Anything else on cart? All right. Now I'm going to dive into my third category. I've labeled it freedom, but I'll be honest, this third category is just going to be anything that wasn't cart or rep facing. So freedom is what we call our corporate back office. So as a client, freedom is the interface you're going to use to control or manage all of the settings for your company. So the first one that I have is what I'm calling delayed tax ID capture. And honestly, it's just because I can't find a better way to explain what this is. But essentially what this update does is it allows you to offer enrollment without a tax ID being required. So if somebody wants to join as a rep in your system, you can choose to not require that Social Security or EIN or tax ID, whatever it might be. You can choose whether to require it or not. You can also choose whether to even show it or not. But the way that we're able to enroll reps without requiring the tax ID is because of the additional settings that we've added here. So in addition to that setting to control whether you want to require it or not, there's a setting for bonus withholding. which essentially says as soon as a rep reaches a minimum threshold of earnings, we want to stop paying them out until we get that tax ID. Okay. In the US, most often it's going to be $600, right? Because that's a minimum number that is required at a federal level. That's when we have to start sending out the 1099s and whatnot. So that could be, but you may have other reasons for setting this to a different number. Maybe the minimum threshold in your countries are different, or you might have some countries that require it no matter what they earn. You can configure this differently for each country or territory. You
Cassie,
can configure it differently by rep type. Yes,
Cassie,
Jay.
this is Jay. I have a question. This has been very enlightening. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to point something out that you may have missed with this, or maybe you decided not to address it. But the rules in the US is you get a 1099 based on one of two situations. One is your income is above $600,
Mhm.
and the other is your sales are above $5,000. So
Ooh,
there's another
okay.
trigger to actually having a 1099 issued beside your income.
Thank you for
So
that, Jay.
you
I
might want
will
to
go
check
back
on
and
that.
see. Yeah, I'll check to see if we've also added that as one of the thresholds. If not, we will get it added because that's important to know.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. And this is why we love our partners, because they have all of this information that we may not always be aware of. So the bonus withholding, you set what that minimum threshold is, and as soon as any rep meets or exceeds that cumulative annual earnings volume, they will no longer get automatic bonus payouts. Instead, it's going to be withheld until such a time that that tax ID is provided. Another key feature of this is an automated communication, or what we call autoresponder, that goes out to that rep, letting them know, hey, your cumulative earnings are now above the minimum threshold. We are holding your earnings until that tax ID is delivered to us. So we're communicating automatically to anybody who needs to provide that tax ID. And then, of course, there are some reports available at the corporate level that allows you to see how many people are falling into this, what are the earnings, with a breakdown by rep. Another new, fairly recent enhancement is the ability to upload promo codes. So we've had promo code functionality for quite some time, but historically it's been a one-off. So you're creating individual codes per customer, per rep. We now have a new interface that allows you to upload in bulk promo codes. So this means you can take an Excel spreadsheet with 2,000 users or 200 users, 20 users, whatever it might be. You can upload it. It will automatically create unique promo codes for each line of that spreadsheet. And there's an autoresponder that will automatically get sent to each recipient, letting them know what their promo code is. So anytime you want to inject some excitement, increase some sales, maybe at the end of the month or over a holiday, something like that, you can actually use this bulk upload tool to kind of do two in one. One is to create the actual promo codes. The other is to send the promo codes to each one of the recipients listed there. And this is already available in the Freedom back office. It's self-service, so you can do it on your own. Of course, you could reach out to us if you need any help with it.
Hey,
Yes, Elise?
what's the limit for the uploads? Like, how many can we do? Because I know this is like 2,500.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
And I don't think there's anybody on the call that knows the answer to that, but I will find out the answer and I'll let you know separately, Elise, because I don't see it anywhere on the page.
Okay.
Cassie,
That
this
would
is
be a good
Tony.
one. We'll add it to the page.
Cassie, I have a quick question too. We might not
Yeah.
have the answer. I know I don't know the answer, but let's say after you, when you were doing the upload, you had selected no to the autoresponders by accident. You did complete the process. Is there a way to trigger, oh, I forgot to send those? Is there a way for me to go back, see that group that was just processed, and then maybe send it after the fact? We might not have thought about that. I
I
apologize.
have not, I don't know. I'll have to go back and check that one. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
That could be something where you cancel that or can the original one and simply redo it if none of those customers were aware that it even took place.
Yeah, could be.
For an export report, so you can upload it into your other email sending thing.
Mhm.
Also a good idea.
We at LeBri just
Lisa's
started
thinking
using
outside
this
the
a month
box.
ago.
You what, Andy?
We at LeBri started using this about a month ago, and so far so good. It's working. We
Awesome.
chose to, I don't know how we did it, but we chose to have the promo code be the customer's ID number.
Oh,
So I don't know
interesting.
how we did that. I originally thought this tool would random generate a number, whether it's short or long. But that's something we did, which was great. So first use going
Interesting.
well.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out how you did that and write that up as a use case in our training documentation, because I love that idea.
It really
All
helped
right.
the sales consultants work with their customer on, the sales consultant would know, okay, your customer ID is this, so I know your promo
Exactly.
code, but everyone had to be eligible for it too, but it made it easier.
Yeah, I love that. All right, I know we're at time, so if you have to drop off, that's fine. I'm gonna send out the link afterward to the full recording, but I am gonna finish. I have just like 3 or 4 more slides here. So the next one is Google Analytics. I know your marketing teams in particular will love this. We have spent some time really updating the integration to Google Analytics. So we've always had the ability to look at web traffic, user engagement info, like what devices are they using, where are they located, and that sort of thing. But now you can get more granular. You can actually look at individual pages throughout your cart. You can see when they've added items to the cart, taken items out of their cart, wish list additions, and you can track revenue analytics back through the checkout journey. So if you're already using Google Analytics, reach out, because there's a lot more power now behind what's possible. If you're not using Google Analytics, it can be very insightful to know and understand what your customers are doing when they're on your checkout site and your browsing site, so that you can make the right adjustments to your strategy, whether it means, changing the layout of the page, changing the sort order of the products, featuring products more prominently. It really can help you out. So if you're not using Google Analytics, or if you'd like to use more of them, definitely reach out to us on that. And then the last one I have here is autoresponders. And autoresponders is something that is not new, but it is something that's very dear to my heart, again, as a field engagement specialist. And so what I love about autoresponders is that at the corporate level, you set up the strategy. You define the journey that you want your reps to have, and then you leverage over 100 templates to build out that journey. In short, autoresponders are automated communications that you can set up that are going to be sent out based on real-time data. We have added 14 new auto ship templates to help you communicate on upcoming auto ships, expired cards. You can communicate to the customers about their auto ships, or to a rep about their customers' auto ships. So 14 new ones there. We also have some new delivery types. So we've always had the ability to send these out via email or via alert, which just sends it to their rep back office. We've added webhooks. So this is going to be great for third-party integrations. One of our favorite partners is ZipLingo, which is a communications provider based out of Utah. And we originally built out these webhooks as part of that integration. But essentially what this webhook is going to do is take whatever was going to be in that autoresponder to the rep, and instead of sending it via email, we send the payload to a third party so that they can deliver it. So they're going to be able to deliver it to an app, on Facebook Messenger, on WeChat, all of the different platforms that we're not able to send to, you can actually leverage that third party and the power of their delivery methods, but using our data as the trigger there. Another new one is what we call Revolution Banner or Pop-up. This is actually going to, again, use the data to identify who gets it, but then it will actually insert an interruption into their back office. So if I've just achieved a new rank, the next time I log into my back office, there's going to be a pop-up that says, "Congratulations, Cassie, on achieving your new rank." Likewise, if I'm close to achieving rank, there can be something there at the top banner that says, "Cassie, you are only $100 away from achieving next rank." Okay, so these are all just examples of what is possible, but autoresponders are one of the most powerful tools we have available. You can leverage any comp attribute that is in the system. It's great for proximity reporting, recognition, motivation, and now you literally can send it in so many different ways that you can make sure that you're reaching your reps and that they're actually seeing and consuming these autoresponders so that you're getting the benefit that you were hoping to get from those. Again, it's self-service, everything's configurable, but it is something that we can help you with if you want some assistance and collaboration. All right, I know I went over on time. My apologies, and thank you everybody who stuck with me. I do still have some time if there are any general questions, any specific questions about anything that I've shared, any feedback. I'd love to hear from you. I'll give you a few minutes here in case there is anything. All right. I don't see anything else in the chat. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining, for your collaboration, for your input. As a reminder, this recording is going to be sent to everybody who registered, so feel free to share it with your teams, and then reach out to us if you have any questions as we move forward. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day.